When you picture a desert, there usually aren't many plants, right? But countries in the Middle East, for example, can't be very picky about what environment they wanna grow their food in. This means there must be some sneaky little ways of farming in the desert, even with temperatures reaching above 50 degrees Celsius in the sun. Interestingly enough, when I was still hosting my podcast, I recorded 2 episodes with desert farmers, if you will. The first guy I interviewed was Dr. Moat Al-Masalmani. He's a researcher at the University of Sheffield, and together with his 2 colleagues, he developed a solution on how to feed the 80,000 Syrian refugees in the Zatari camp in Jordan. This project is called Desert Garden. But I would say that even more impressive than what the Sheffield team did is how they did it. So the team knew they wanted to use hydroponics to farm in the Jordan desert. If you aren't aware of it yet, hydroponics is a technique of growing plants in a soilless medium and supplying all the nutrients through a nutrient solution. This allows the farmers to be more efficient with the water, among other things. And in desert refugee camp conditions, that's really what you wanna go for. When the team visited the camp and evaluated the conditions though, it seemed really far-fetched to import some state-of-the-art growing system. And that's when they went past a fair-sized warehouse with stacks upon stacks of discarded mattresses. A question immediately occurred in their minds. Can we use junk to build this system? The answer was yes. So they recycled scrap materials from the camp to build the farm. But there was another problem. The camp has electricity for only 8 hours a day. So the Sheffield team had to build sort of a hybrid system that combines multiple ways of doing hydroponics to cope with the energy constraints. Now it only needs electricity for something like 5 minutes every 3 to 4 hours to pump the nutrient solution into the upper levels of the farm. When the grid is off, it gets the energy from solar panels. It's a very efficient system indeed. But the Desert Garden project doesn't end with one system. There are multiple of these throughout the camp. And the Sheffield team already taught some 3,000 refugees on how to make their own hydroponic systems and how to grow some fresh veggies in it. So a low-tech hydroponic system is one way of farming in the desert. Remember how I said that these countries can't do much about the environment they farm in? Well, a solution to that would be a closed high-tech system where you can control the climate. Which is exactly what this Iranian family-run company called Kenti Kesht is doing. They have a custom-built container farm installed in Iran where the outside temperatures can range between 45 and -6 degrees Celsius in just one day. So it's a real feat to keep the inside temperature constant. And with custom-built, I mean that the brothers and sisters that co-founded Kenti Kesht had to build the farm with the hydroponic growing system from scratch themselves. Because it was virtually impossible for them to import the growing technology from the US, for example. Their goal is to become the #1 container farming company in the Middle East. And when I was interviewing the co-founder of Kenti Kesht, Somaya Sadepour, her cats joined in on the debate from behind the camera, so the interview really captures a broad range of opinions. But aside from these low-tech and high-tech systems, which I personally believe is the future, there are also the traditional ways of farming in a desert. And I would say that the best one is to work the earth so that when the rain eventually comes, the soil can absorb, retain and use the water. This technique is based on working with the terrain and digging trenches, ponds and banks to hold and distribute the rainfall throughout the landscape. I've seen a farmer turn a barren, desertified land into a lush green forest only by digging holes to catch the water. And that's something! But the technique isn't limited to deserts. There are farmers revitalizing their land like this in Oregon and even India. Over the years that I've been learning about agriculture, the trend of working with the soil like this seems to be increasing. And that gives us some hope of maybe even stopping the global desertification. So these were the main ways how you can grow food in the desert if you happen to have one in the backyard. Thanks for watching.